Hello, I'm so glad that you joined us on this Wednesday. It's June the 17th, and I'm glad that you can be part of this study today. We're studying in the book of First Peter and finding some words of encouragement there in First Peter to help us to be strong and to help us to be able to face every challenge that life has. I've mentioned to you several times that God equips us to handle all the problems of life, all the difficulties that are there. And as we see those problems and those difficulties, those challenges, those temptations that we may have to endure, and we observe those, we know that God has given us everything we need to overcome those and to stay faithful no matter what. And he talks about that beginning in 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 1. If you read with me there, it says, "So I exhort the elders among you, as a fellow elder and a witness of the sufferings of Christ, as well as a partaker in the glory that is going to be revealed. Shepherd the flock of God that is among you, exercising oversight, not under compulsion, but willingly, as God would have you, not for shameful gain, but eagerly, not domineering over those in your charge, but being examples to the flock. And when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the unfading crown of glory." I want you to notice some things here that are really important. God has given within the local congregation the work of shepherds, also known as elders, pastors, overseers, bishops, the same work that's described there. And God has given that work to help watch out for each one. And this is very important because we see there that they're watching out for the spiritual good. They're watching out for the wolves, for the dangers that are there. And when one serves as an elder, it's such an important work to be able to protect the flock. That's a shepherd's job, to make sure that the sheep are well fed, that they're safe from all dangers, that they have everything that they need. And God has given leaders among his people to do this kind of work. Now, I think that's very encouraging when we realize that God had the foresight to see that we need to have leaders who watch over us, who help us, and are aware of whatever dangers might be there. I want you to notice a very important word that's used, I believe, twice in this passage. He says, "I exhort the elders among you," and he says to shepherd the flock of God that is among you. Every local congregation is to have that. And so these are to be men that you know, that you can go to with your problems and can assist you. Isn't that an encouragement to know that those men are there for you? As you think about that, it's not someone so far away, someone maybe you don't even know or you're unfamiliar with, but here is someone who is among the local congregation, who meets certain requirements that Paul talks to Timothy and Titus about, and that they serve in this job leading. I want you to notice another word that is used at least twice in this passage, and that word is glory. Peter says that he's a partaker in the glory that is going to be revealed. And when we read there that the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the unfading crown of glory. Talking to elders, urging them to do their work very well, to do their work with all diligence as we look at that. And so we have these elders who have a heavy responsibility, but they also can look forward, as all Christians do, to the glory and the reward in heaven when they do that work very well. And so we see here something I think is incredibly encouraging. Number one, that God had the foresight to provide leadership in the congregation, and that there are men who do that work, who shepherd the flock of God, who are watching out, and they have all the right motives it talks about here, and they're wanting to make sure that the flock is safe. I find that to be really encouraging. Now, the next verse, as we look at 1 Peter 5 and verse 5 says, "Likewise, you who are younger, be subject to the elders. Clothe yourselves, all of you, with humility toward one another, for God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble." And so this is not a burden that's laid upon you. Here is something that you do willingly. You willingly submit to the elders. Of course, you submit to God first, and they must submit to God as well, as you understand that the rules of authority, that God's authority is the highest. And so as we see that, we realize that those elders serve under that authority, but to submit yourselves to them and to be humble toward one another. You have this beautiful cooperative relationship with all the members of the local congregation. I find those things to be really encouraging, to see how God is watching over us by giving us someone to watch over us, and that we are to cooperate with that so that we're all safe and we're all spiritually in a good position, and so that we can look forward to that glory. My name is Paul Adams, and this has been 5 Minutes of Encouragement.